Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another storytime video, whoop whoop. Remember, if you like these videos, to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And to share with your friends, family, cult members, and whatever else you want to pass along to. But enough with introductions, let's get into the story. In today's story, I would like to talk about another time in high school that happened to me. This happened in my geology class, about Earth and Mother Nature and all of its glory and science behind every little follicle of every little plant. You know what I mean. That boring class that, nobody really likes, but has to go through it. But anyway, so in my geology class, we were learning about wind and how wind was created. Like heat in one spot colliding with cold air and, it combustion. Wind is formed because of heat and cold and, whatever scientific thing, you know, adds on to it. But anyway, so what ended up happening was my teacher started off with the class saying, okay, class, we're going to be talking about how wind is created and how it affects us and, yada, yada, yada. And so she says, before we get into the actual lesson, does anybody know how wind is made? And everybody's quiet, just sitting there, kind of like, no, why would we know it? If we knew, we wouldn't be here, lady. Like, seriously, come on. But anyway, nobody answers, and the teacher is about to start class, and she tells us to open our books to a certain page. And right as the teacher's about to start the class, one of the chicks in the classroom shoots up out of her chair and shouts out, Miss, teacher, 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 I know where wind comes from and how it's made. And so the teacher turns around and looks at the student and says, all right, well, if you know, then how is wind made and how does it work? And so the student smiles and says, there's a tree in the middle of the ocean that sways back and forth, and wherever it sways, that's where the wind goes. And everybody in class starts to burst out laughing. I'm sitting there trying not to fall out of my desk as I'm laughing of the stupidity I just heard. And then my teacher goes on and says, okay, so there's a tree in the middle of the ocean. How did the tree get there anyway? And she's like, simple, it's on an island. And she's like, okay, but where did that island come from? Why is that island so specifically, chosen to make wind? And she's like, because it's on the axis, so, it's on the equator, so then blah, blah, blah. And at this point, we're all figuring out she has no idea what she's talking about, and she actually thinks this is real. So we start to laugh even more. And the teacher is like, okay, no, that's wrong. That's not how it is. And she explains how wind is made. And the student is all like, well, my parents told me it was this, and on the Discovery Channel I watch, it was a tree in the middle of the ocean swaying back and forth. And the teacher looks at her and says, if your parents told you that a tree is in the middle of the ocean swaying back and forth and pushing air one way, making it wind towards that direction, and said that they seen it on a Discovery Channel. I didn't say they, I said I. And then the teacher's like, okay, I'm sorry that you seen it on a Discovery Channel. Then this generation is screwed. And the class started to laugh. And she's like, why is it not in the middle of the ocean? And she goes like, there is no tree in the middle of the ocean. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. And I was just done. After that day, I thought I knew every idiot in the world, but I must have been wrong because I met the biggest idiot in the whole entire world. I mean, this happened about like 8, 9 years ago. But I mean, still, like, that was the stupidest thing I've ever seen or heard ever come out of anybody's mouth. I mean, I don't know. That might not be the stupidest thing, but let me know in the comments section, like, the stupidest thing you've ever heard come out of somebody's mouth. Because I think what I just said was pretty stupid, and I think everyone can agree with that. But anyway, thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you in the next Storytime video. Whoop whoop!